January 30th, 2020. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 201 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Now, Mike, a few episodes back, you regaled us with all of the prop bets that you make on the come-out roll when you're at the craps table. And it was very complicated. I imagine some of our listeners blacked out listening to you describe all the different bets.
I'd imagine, yeah.
Well, after that episode, I thought, I'm going to try to come up with something better for you. I'm going to help out my friend Dr. Mike.
Okay.
All right. So you made all these different bets on the table that totaled $85 plus
90.
Plus $5 for the dealers.
Right.
So it was really $85 for you, $5 for the dealers.
Right.
So I thought, how can I redistribute that $85, not only so that it's simpler, but so that you will actually lose less money in the long run.
Lose less money.
Correct. Right?
Not win more money, but lose less money.
Lose less money. Because your way is a loser. Let's just make it clear that it's not like your way's a winner.
No.
Okay.
But yours is a loser too. I just want to make that clear so people don't think you came up with some secret way to win at craps.
That's fair. So here's how the $85 goes now. You put $30 on a three-way 7. That's pretty much the same.
That's the same.
And then $40 any craps and $15 11. That's the $85. And then for the tip that you make for the dealers, you just make a $5 world bet, right? So that's just now 3 bets for you. And I want to hand it to you, Mike, because I talked about that when we were driving up a few weeks back. I said, here's what, a good way to go, Mike. And you tried it, and the first few times that you won anything, it was the result of a 7 coming up. And my way, you do get a little less money.
Less money on a 7.
When a 7 comes up.
Right.
And it seemed like that was all that was happening all night, was 7s coming up.
Yep.
But you have stuck with it.
Yeah.
You have stuck with it. And you'll even say to the dealers, okay, here's my $90, Mark's way.
Yeah, they know Mark's way or Mike's way. And so they immediately set it up Mark's way.
And at least one boxman said, oh, I like Mark's way a lot better. It's much simpler.
It's simpler for the people to figure out.
Yeah, there's way fewer bets. So
yeah,
it goes that way.
It's right. It's simpler for them to figure out. And I haven't really come up with a set pattern of how to parlay it. How to increase
that's true.
it.
Now that's interesting because the way that your way, you had it all figured out how you wanted to parlay.
Right.
And I didn't figure out any kind of parlay or press. I figured, I'll leave that up to you.
I've been doing a few different things when it hits.
Yeah.
I just have them take everything down and then I give them new bets.
Oh, right. Well, that is sometimes easier because like a $40 bet, instead of trying to press it up to 75 by giving them the right amount, you just give them 75 and they take the 40 off.
And they give me the 40 back,
But you're still making the same bets, right? I mean, basically, you're still doing the any craps, the 11, and the 3.
I haven't been putting it on the horn bet. I've just been leaving it on those bets and pressing it.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you for sticking with it because I thought, okay, here we go.
You know how I like to please. And if that makes you and the dealers happy, then I'll do it.
I got to remember that. I'm going to put this on a loop. Or that's going to be the ringtone now when you call me. Well, you know how I like to please. And we got a phone call from listener Neil a few episodes ago where he was surprised that he found a 9-6 Jacks or Better video poker machine that paid only 2,500 coins on a max coin royal flush instead of the standard 4,000. And he thought that was weird. We thought that was weird. We were thinking, kind of like to see the whole pay table in that situation to kind of see what's going on.
Well, we've never seen that.
Right. Well, thanks to listener Austin who posted on Twitter, we do have the answer. It's probably the same machine. First off, though, let's just kind of go through a video poker primer for people who might not be familiar with some of the payouts. So video poker, Jacks or Better is the basic game. And if you find a Jacks or Better game with a good pay table, it's a pretty good return,
right?
Compared to others. All right, so pay tables are often referenced by 2 numbers. We'll say 2 numbers when we talk about a game. The first number indicates how many coins you'll win for a 1-coin bet if you make a full house. The second number indicates how many coins you'll win for a 1-coin bet if you make a flush.
So on a full pay Jacks or Better machine, they would call it a 9-6.
Exactly, right.
So you put one coin in, you get 9 for a full house. You put one coin in, you get 6 for a flush.
Right, exactly. And the return on that machine is around 99.5%. So pretty good if you can catch it. So yeah, sometimes you'll hear other numbers like 7-5.
Right.
That doesn't pay as well, but that means, again, 7 for 1 on a full house, 5 for 1 on a flush. Okay, now on most video poker machines, you can bet up to 5 coins, which is often referred to as max coin in, something like that. And the payouts for 5 coins are usually just 5 times the payouts for 1 coin. So, for example, if you bet 1 coin and make a full house, you'll receive 9 coins in winnings. If you bet 5 coins and make a full house, you'll receive 45 coins, right? 9 times 45 is 45. Right. The difference comes when you make a royal flush. Generally, the 5 coin payout for a royal flush is much more than 5 times the 1 coin payout. On a standard jacks or better machine, the 1 coin payout for a royal flush is 250 coins. But the 5 coin payout is 4,000 coins. That's 16 times more the 1 coin payout, right? That's why you'll often hear people say, oh, you got to always play max coin, in case you hit that royal, right? So again, Neil came across a game that only paid 2,500 coins for a royal flush when playing 5 coins. We thought that was odd, so did Neil. Listener Austin sent us a picture of the full pay table for what was probably the same machine Neil saw. So the difference on this machine, it is 9-6 jacks or better, but the 1 coin payout for a royal flush is 500 coins.
Instead of 250.
Instead of the standard 250, right. And the 5 coin payout for a royal flush is 2,500 instead of 4,000.
So what they did is they upped the lower coins in and reduced the higher coins in.
Yeah, and
which, could be to your benefit if you're playing 1 or 2 coins.
Well, I mean, it's certainly going to be better on a 9-6 machine than, say, a 7-5 machine that has the standard royal flush payout. It is better.
Right.
But look at what they've done here, right? 500 for 1 coin royal flush, 2,500 for 5 coin royal flush. Well, that's just 5 times 500. Right? So in this case, this machine, there is no advantage to playing max coin. 5 coins, right? Because the payout is just 5 times as much as the 1 coin. So that's kind of interesting. Now, the return on this game is about 98.9%, so it's still not a bad game. Like I said, you'd rather play this than, say, a 7-5, with the 4,000 on the 5 coin royal. But anyway, it was interesting because Austin actually sent a picture of when he hit a royal on one of these machines and didn't realize this was the payout.
Right.
So he got, 2,500. I mean, he still got something. It's great to hit a royal, but not the 4,000 coins.
I'll take this royal anytime.
Yeah, really. I'll tell you
Just so I can say I had one.
If we hit a 2,500 coin royal, that counts.
That counts, right. We should also mention that for people who don't play a lot of video poker, just looking at the full house and the flush is not enough.
Right. Here's a great example, right?
Yeah. You have to look at the whole pay table because a lot of times you'll see machines where 2 pair pays even money instead of 2 to 1.
No, it doesn't pay even money. It's 1 for 1. So you just get your money back.
Right. Yeah, you get your money back versus twice your money.
Right.
So you have to watch out for that.
Yep.
And sometimes they do that and then they up the others. So it's 9-6, but down the ones that hit more, you get paid less.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to maybe have a list of what the pay table should be or what you should expect to see on games that you want to play. Because, you never know. And we might not have noticed this if we had played this machine. Hey, 9-6
we probably
jacks are better, right?
We'd probably see the 9-6.
Maybe after we played a little while, it's like, wait a second.
Right.
But, always check. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's get to some voicemails. First up is Josh.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Josh calling from L.A. I met you guys a couple months ago in Harrah, Southern California, when we were on that $25 table, and we hit that 5-point fire. Unfortunately, I wasn't on the fire, but that was one of the best rolls I had ever been on. So anyways, I took a trip out to Vegas for CES, and I was able to sneak away to the craps table at Harrah's Las Vegas. And I found a $10 table on a Friday night, and to my surprise, there was actually the fire bet. I was under the impression that the fire bet had been extinct from the Las Vegas Strip in general. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I ended up hitting a 4-point fire that night, but I had a really good time, and hopefully that's some good information. I love the podcast, and I hope to meet up with you guys soon at Harrah, Southern California. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so the fire bet is back at Harrah's Las Vegas, and I thought we had mentioned that on the show previously.
I thought we had mentioned it when I went on my trip in December.
Yeah, but maybe we did, and I just couldn't find it in one of the older episodes. But yeah, you actually played it, didn't you?
Yeah, I played on that table. Now, I only saw the one table.
Okay.
But I didn't look real close.
So they still had all small, tall?
Yeah, I switched to another table, and it was repeater, and then I saw one that was all tall, all small.
Oh, okay.
So they had 3 different choices, and there were a couple of tables that weren't open when I was there.
Yeah.
So I didn't look at them to see what they had on the layout. But that one table definitely had the fire bet.
Okay, so at least one table on the Las Vegas Strip has the fire bet again.
Right.
So, yeah,
right.
okay.
One table that we know of.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Jim from Ohio. I called you a few months back about your episode on Mississippi Stud and told you a success story that I had based on that. Anyway, my usual game is craps, and I usually buy in for $300 or $400, and if I can double my money, I consider that a very good day. Anyway, I was at craps table, and found about half of my bankroll was gone. It wasn't going very well, and I thought, well, I'll stick around. I'll see one more shooter. This guy shot for what must have been 45 minutes. He was hitting numbers left and right, but it was just a monster roll, the biggest I've ever seen. And at the end of his roll, after he sevened out, I was up $2,000, which is far and away the most I've ever won in a single trip. So I color up, tip the dealers, and I was going to leave. On my way out, a 3-card poker table catches my eye. I haven't played that in so long. I sit down there, figure why not give it a shot. My second hand, I get a pair of 10s with a 9, and the dealer flips over a pair of 10s with a jack. So on their 6-card bonus bet, I get 4 of a kind, which is a 100-to-1 payout. I had $25 on there. I had what I feel is a really important question. So I had a $5 bet on the pairs plus for the dealer and a $1 bet on the 6-card bonus for the dealer. So for the payout, $2,500, the supervisor had to be standing there. And I had never heard this before, but the supervisor said we can't actually make a bet for the dealer on the 6-card bonus because some of the payouts are too high. I guess if you get a royal flush, it pays 1,000 to 1. And the supervisor was saying that something about they have to tax winnings once they're over a certain point. And they don't have any way to tax all of the dealers for the winnings, so they wouldn't be able to drop a $1,000 win or something like that. It just seemed very strange to me. So the supervisor said the dealer could take the $5 winnings on the pairs plus bet, but the $100 winning for the dollar tip on the 6-card bonus, they had to return that dollar to me. So I thought that was weird. So I was up considerably for the night, so I just gave the dealer a $100 tip, and then I ended up leaving. But I just wanted to know if that was something that you had ever heard of before. Anyway, enjoy the show. Keep it up. Thanks very much.
Yeah, this is interesting because on table games, in certain situations, if you get a payout that is 300 to 1 or more, that does qualify for a W2G, for the player at least.
Right.
Now, would that apply to dealers? And I wonder because, Mike, when we've hit the fire bet, 6 numbers on the fire.
Right.
And the dealers get a ton of money.
Right.
I mean, they're certainly not filling out any forms. I don't know if forms are filled out in the background. I mean, we're not tax attorneys, so it seems like they wouldn't be exempt.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, like at Harrah's Rincon, they share the tips.
That's true, but the payout, it's a single wager.
Yeah. I mean, but that payout gets divided amongst 100 plus people.
You are right.
Does that qualify? I mean, it's not one person getting the whole payout.
Yeah, right. So that's a good point. We're not sure what's going on in this situation. Is it pooled tips here?
Right.
Because yes, this bet could pay 1,000 to 1.
Right.
And, if it were going to one dealer, okay, that kind of makes sense. They wouldn't want to have to pay taxes.
Well, dealers have to pay taxes on their tips.
On their tips.
No matter what they get.
Of course. But you have to pay taxes on anything that you win at the casino too.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But I'm talking about W-2Gs. When do W-2Gs have to be generated? And the question is, do they have to be generated for dealers if they're pooling their tips?
Well, when they're pooling their tips, or even if, say, one dealer got it, they're taxed anyway because they keep accurate track of the number of tips they get. And then that's part of their...
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying W-2G. I'm saying the rules about getting a W-2G. It seems that...
Well, then you'd be double taxed.
Well, no, you wouldn't be double taxed. It would, because think about when we get a W-2G, they don't take anything out.
Right. And then, but we're obligated to pay taxes on that later.
Right.
Now, the dealer is paying taxes on whatever tips they get.
Right.
That goes into
just like you're paying taxes on the $5,000 that you won on the fire bet.
Right, but not exactly. Theirs is included in their paycheck.
Right.
So, they're getting taxed. It's just like income for them.
Okay. Again, there's no point in us even arguing the point because we don't know what we're talking about. Right. It's just interesting that it seems at some
I know
places,
with like a waiter, it's like, you get tips and you have to declare your tips and it just gets taxed as wages.
I'm just saying, obviously they don't have this rule at every casino because we've seen payouts, big payouts like that. Right.
I think the problem is it wages for them or is it winnings?
But you're missing my point. I'm saying there's one policy at one casino and a different policy at a different casino.
I understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't know why it's happening. So I do have a couple things to say. In this particular case, the payout was only 100 to 1. But the pit boss was saying, oh, you can't make the wager at all because potentially it could be 1,000 to 1 payout. So they gave Jim the money back. So I really want to know.
So why did the dealer let him make the bet?
Right. Number one.
and then why is there a spot for it?
And did the dealer take the losing bet every time it happened?
Right.
If I were Jim, I'd say, hey, how about, the 20 other times, that, it was only the second hand when he got there, but, still, right?
Yeah, if he had made a bunch more.
Yeah. And
then why wouldn't the dealer know about that? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you can't bet for the dealers on that.
Yeah.
Might have been a dealer error. Maybe their policy is, no, you can't bet on that, and they just didn't even think about it.
Very possible, yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Jim.
Well, it's interesting how dealers would have to pay taxes, though. I mean, when they win $17,000 on the fire bet at Harrah's, it goes into a pool that's divided amongst all the dealers on all the shifts. Not just that shift, but like for the whole pay period. So whatever their pay period is, say 2-week pay period, all that money goes into a pool and then they figure out how many hours each person worked and they divide it and they get an amount and that gets added to their pay, the way I understand it, as income. And then it's taxed from there.
Right.
So would you have to fill out a W-2G if you've already been taxed on your income?
Well, if you don't have to, why won't they let you make this bet at this casino?
Yeah, well, but who knows that? I mean, and that may not even be true. That might be the pit boss.
There you go. Right. See, that
might be the pit boss.
Ultimately,
just saying,
it might not even be true.
Oh, we can't pay that or something. I don't know. Well, and it's Nevada versus California and other, who knows?
Well, but we make fire bets for the dealers all the time in Vegas.
Right.
And that has the potential for 1,000 for 1 payout.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how that works. Well, somebody will let us know who's either a CPA or who's a dealer. Or
nobody's going to let us know.
Nobody will tell us.
They may think they're letting us know, but it's like...
I guarantee you're going to get an email within 3 days of this podcast coming out.
All right, let's move on. Next call.
Hi, Dr. Mike and Mark. This is Mark and Andrew. We're just giving you a trip report. We just got back from Shreveport. We're driving home right now. We went to the Horseshoe this time. So, yeah, we were down for the trip. We were all down to our last $50, and we just had an epic roll last night. And I just got to tell you about it. The thing that's cool about this casino in Bossier City is the characters that are there. People that walk up, they really entertain you. And this guy, we were in the corner of the table, right next to the hook. Me and Andrew were sitting there. And across the table, he was yelling at us because he was on the dome. And he was just like saying, out, out, and making all these noises and yelling. And he had like $7,000 on the dome pass. He was yelling and screaming. And we made him lose $7,000. He was steaming. So anyway, there's this bonus bet, and you got to hit all the numbers before the 7 comes, otherwise it goes off. So the first roll, I had it up there, and it went out. Next roll, I put it back up there, it went out. And then my buddy Andrew, he hit the last moment, he decided to put it out one more time, and it was just epic. Rolled for almost an hour, and then the only last number left was the ace deuce. And you saw the one, whoop, and then the other dice was spinning, and then there came ace deuce. It was amazing. It was just epic. And then not only to boot, hit about like 8 numbers after that. It was just epic. Anyway, just wanted to call and give you the trip report. And the comps there at Horseshoes, yeah, they have 100x odds, lots of $5 tables. They gave us some free buffets. They gave us free rooms on a Saturday night. Just pretty good times. All right, well, anyway, you guys take care. We love your show. We listen to it. And hope you all have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, the spinning die.
Yeah.
When the first die has already landed and it's possible to come up with the number that you want, that spinning die.
Right, it always is like a moment of like your stomach.
You're holding your breath because it could always be a 7.
Right, yeah, right. Or just nothing. I mean, nothing inconsequential.
Yeah. Oh, it's a 4. Oh, okay, well, that's good, I guess. I have a little money on the 4.
That's nice to hear those rolls.
Yeah.
And that's the funnest thing about when you see characters like that. I love him sending the don't guy home.
That's right.
Sorry, all you don't betters.
7 out. Come on.
I love sending the don't people home.
All right. Next up is Will.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Will from Kansas. I've got a kind of a crazy story that happened this last Friday night. So I'm over at Buffalo Run in northeast Oklahoma. Decided to throw a little dice, bought in for $100. My luck's been bad lately, so I was like, I'm just going to play this. I'm going to see how it goes. Throwing pretty good that night. 1 up for my 100. I've got probably 250 now. I'm in the middle of a roll. I just hit a point, and 3 people walk up to the table, probably late 40s, 50s, very intoxicated and very annoying. They buy in with $20. And the lady's just like, what do I need? What do I need? The box man. And I'm just like, what? And I'm kind of talking to the stick man because I'm stick right 1. And I'm just like, what is going on? He's like, oh, they do this all the time. So I'm like, great. Well, she's asking what she needs, which is kind of crazy at a craps table. Eventually, she decides, I want the one that's 15-1, which is the yo. So she places the yo, and I kind of say loud enough for people to hear, it's probably not a great bet if you're only buying for $20. But, you know, I didn't really care. I was just like, okay, let's not roll a yo and maybe they'll be out of here. Well, of course, I roll a yo. So she makes about $75. She presses the yo up to 25 and I'm just like, what is going on? I'm not going to roll another yo. Get the dice back. Of course, roll a yo. She makes over $300. She takes the yo up to 75. Of course, the whole time being very annoying. Now she's just kind of throwing money all over. I need this. I need that. I need this. Can't stress enough how much they were annoying me. The guy standing directly to my right keeps bumping me. Now I'm kind of all out of sorts. I'm like, oh man, my roll's going to be terrible now. They just shot my roll. Get the dice back. And of course, what do I roll? The third 11 in a row, which pays her well over $1,000. So at this point, I'm like, oh my gosh, you just took $20 up to nearly $1,500, $1,600 in a matter of 3 rolls. The dice go around the table several more times. She's just throwing the money everywhere. Moral of the story is no one to step out. She goes from almost that $1,500 she took up from 20 all the way back down to busting out. I left the table with about 1,200 on a best night I've had in a while. So moral of the story is everybody, no one to step out and don't be obnoxious at the table.
He got cut off there. Yeah. Just don't be annoying, I think, is a generally good rule.
I feel your pain, Will. Believe me, I feel your pain. And it is funny because you see it all the time where some guy will be betting in the field or something and doubling it up. You know, he'll put 100 and hit like a 12 and get 300 and then leave it out there and another 12 comes up. And you're thinking, what the hell, you know, this guy? And eventually you just sit there and a while later they're busted out.
Yeah, you look at it. Wait,
they keep
he's got
betting,
no money. He had like a huge stack of blacks a second ago.
She probably kept putting $50 on 11 every roll.
That's right. Hey, that worked out for me before. Yeah.
You know what I hate? I hate when you're sitting there and you're waiting for a 6 and an 8 to come up. And I've pressed up my 8 to like $1,200 or something. And I'm thinking, just give me an 8, just give me an 8. And it's 3, 2, and some bozos winning in the field.
Right. And you think it's like, those are wasted rolls.
Yeah, they're just
we only have a certain number of rolls to hit that 8, and you've wasted 2.
It's like number of heartbeats. I mean, you're born with just a certain amount of heartbeats. You don't waste them running or anything like that. You got to save those heartbeats. It's like, save those rolls. Give me, just roll some 8s.
Oh, it's such a crazy game. Just last weekend, we were on that huge roll, huge monster and the guy never rolled a 6. Remember, we were making all this money.
He never rolled a 6. That was incredible, Mark. I had every other number up well over, $500, $600.
Everything else
every
was
number.
Yeah.
And he was hitting them. Well, we had the 10 or 4, one of them up to almost the house max.
Yeah, it was
he
something.
never rolled a 6. Yeah. That whole stinking time. Can you believe that? Yeah. Here's my 6 sitting there with $60 still on it the whole time.
All right, let's hear from our good friend Marty.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, Marty from Reno. Hey, couple of things. First of all, it was announced this week that Harrah's in Reno is being sold to a company that is going to turn it into a non-gaming hotel and retail. They're naming it City Center. Seems like a scary name given what happened to City Center in Las Vegas. And it's going to happen here in the next few months. Again, it sounds like it's part of the divestiture with Eldorado buying up the Caesars properties. Sad thing is, I mean, this is kind of the corner that started it all here in Reno as a bingo parlor and then as a casino. Even though I'm a Total Rewards member and play it all over the rest of the world, the Reno property has been in disrepair for as long as I've been going there, which is about 15 years. So I feel bad for the employees that are getting let go as part of the sell-off, but it's kind of time to shut it down and do something else with it. Another topic is I got an email today from Caesars on the 7 Stars promotion that they're doing for 2020. And this is actually one of the best ones I've seen ever. Not only do you get the things that you would normally get for your 7 Stars retreat, which is the airfare, the 4 nights of lodging, and the $500 dining portfolio, but this year, if you do this before the end of March, you're actually earning 3 times tier credits during your entire trip, which could be worth thousands of tier credits. Again, it sounds like they must have a slow first quarter trying to get people there by the end of first quarter. But anyway, I'm sure you guys probably got the email. It came out this morning. Kind of interesting that they're trying to do this with 3 times tier credits. Anyway, love the show, guys. Thanks for everything. See you later. Get well, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, hopefully we will qualify for that because...
we booked our trip.
Yeah, the trip is booked here before March, even though we're going in April. So yeah, hopefully that'll qualify. So how are you feeling, by the way, Mike, compared to like last time we recorded?
Well, better than last time, definitely.
Okay.
Still not 100%.
Yeah.
This is driving me crazy.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, Harrah's Reno was an old property. I remember going there years ago.
It is sad that it's going away, but it sounds like it was pretty run down. So,
putting a city center in there, it'll be like Las Vegas where they'll have a sign and maybe, they'll pour like 6 feet of concrete and then it'll just stop.
That's right. All this rebar sticking up.
Right.
And, I don't think I ever went to Harrah's Reno, but I know as a kid, we traveled through Reno and we went to the National Automobile Museum, which is William Harrah's collection.
Right.
It might have even at the time still been called like Harrah's Auto Museum or something to that effect, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, that Reno area is very nice. I mean, I'd love to go up there and see it again.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Lake Tahoe. Next to the Harrah's property there, they had a building that was started at some point, and there was some rebar just sticking up.
Oh, really? At Lake Tahoe? How long ago was that?
Well, that was the last time I was in Lake Tahoe. So when was that? It was a few years ago.
Okay, and I've been there since then. I didn't see. Oh, you know what, Mike? Now that you say it, yeah. I think there was still something. Yeah.
And it was there for quite a while. I mean, I remember seeing it several times on trips to Lake Tahoe, thinking, well, why don't they just get rid of that?
Yeah,
but it's just some rebar.
Probably 2008, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah,
right.
It just everything stopped. Yeah. All right, next call.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is the other Michael James calling from the Milwaukee area. I'm calling to congratulate you on your 200th episode. Just so you know, I go way back. I probably started a few weeks before you did your riff on the 500 by Midnight podcast opening. I believe that was show 50, so I started a little before that. Look for a little something in the PayPal. I'm going to the Super Bowl weekend in Las Vegas again, watching the game from South Point, but staying downtown. By the way, I still owe you a phone call with a crap story, so at some point I'll make that call. Thanks again for about 6 great years of content. Have a good time.
All right, thanks, Michael. So this is a reminder to call us with that crap story.
Right. This is your reminder.
And we did get that PayPal donation. Thanks very much, and good luck this weekend watching the Super Bowl. And
oh, it's crazy in Vegas and Super Bowl.
Yeah. But even though we've never done it, and we've talked about why, we kind of like watching the game. And if we were there, we wouldn't watch the game.
This year, definitely, I want to watch the game because I think it's going to be a good game.
Should be a good one, but you never know.
It's the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
I could go on and on about this. I hate that 2-week displacement because it's not the regular routine.
No, I know.
And then the players they do interview after interview and they do all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're so out of their normal routine that sometimes it's hard for them to get back in the game.
Well, here's the thing. When the Chargers did go to the Super Bowl, I did like having the 2 weeks here in San Diego because of the party atmosphere. It was like, hey, the Chargers are going to the Super Bowl.
Right, everyone's happy.
But to your point, they got slaughtered. I mean, it was terrible. One of the worst Super Bowls in history.
Honestly, if I was a player, now, and I don't know, maybe players feel differently, but if I was a player, I'd say, give me 2 days off and let's play the Super Bowl. I mean, seriously, you want to get out there and do it and not think about it and go over. I mean, it just...
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL is working on some kind of suspended animation where all the players go in.
Are frozen?
After that's right there. After they win the conference, they just go in and, they wake up the next day and it's a Super Bowl. There's no butterflies. They're not worrying about it.
Yeah, they haven't done a million interviews and been asked stupid questions all week long. Yeah. And they've had some injections in their muscles, so they're healed perfectly. They're all perfect.
Good for the NFL. Well, there's been some shakeups at MGM Springfield. We have a couple calls about that. First up is Uncle G.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Uncle G calling in from the East Coast with an update on MGM Springfield. So MGM Springfield has struggled to reach their revenue targets in the 16 months they've been open. And sadly, this past December marked their lowest revenue month of all. So they've been struggling. They're running about 40% below what their profit targets were. So the casino's been struggling since they opened, which isn't a great surprise to those of us who live here because we really don't have a large population center to support enough high rollers to support the casino. We're sandwiched between Albany on one side, 90 miles to the west, and Albany's got a full-blown casino. 90 miles to the east, you have Boston. Obviously a major metro area, but they have their own casino. And people from Boston, if they didn't go to Encore, they would go down to Connecticut to the awesome casinos down there. So MGM kind of struggles here in the middle. And it was announced today that the current president who opened up this facility has been reassigned. And MGM is bringing in Chris Kelly from MGM Northfield Park to fill the role as president of this facility. So clearly they're trying to turn it around. They're trying different things. And they've dramatically improved gaming conditions for players as a result. So I do call with some good news. Some of the things they've changed at MGM Springfield is they now offer $5 blackjack 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I can vouch for it. I've seen it. I've played it. They have $5 blackjack that pays 3 to 2 and also offers surrender. Hard to get a better game than that. They've increased the odds on craps. You can now take up to 20 times odds. We still haven't seen a $5 table, but I can't imagine that's that far away. They've reduced the roulette limit to $10. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I view roulette as a sucker's bet. I don't play the game. And they've also introduced a bunch of food and beverage specials for those folks who actually purchase drinks in a casino. I'm not sure why you would, but I imagine some people do. Now they have $2 beers. They have dollar oysters. They have some reasonably priced food options as well. So they've dramatically lowered the cost to go out, do some gaming, have a beer or two, maybe hit a royal or two, and have a nice night out. So kudos to them for responding to the laws of supply and demand, and I hope they get things turned around. That's my update on MGM Springfield. I hope Dr. Mike's feeling better, and appreciate your podcast. Thanks, guys.
All right, so some bad news for the company means good news for players. So
which is usually the case, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Remember in 2008, all the offers we got and things we got, which is nice and smart on the casino's part, right? Yeah. You got to get people there.
Sure, and Uncle G actually sent us some pictures of some of the promotions there, like the $5 blackjack and everything. They looked like they were on some at least semi-permanent signs. throughout the casino. So at least it's a plan for now. That's great.
Well, and in their case, being kind of a locals casino, it sounds like.
Sure, right.
They need to have stuff like that. They need to get those local people out there who, will come and bring their $100, right?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Because that all adds up.
A lot of the high rollers, they're just going to Mohegan Sun.
Right,
If they're coming from somewhere else,
right.
They may stop in to see what it's like. They've never been there before.
Right.
But then they don't come back. So, all right. So again, we have another call, this one from Andrew.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Andrew from Springfield, Mass. calling. Haven't called in a while. Wanted to give you an update on MGM here in Springfield. First of all, today it was announced that the COO and president of the casino was being reorganized to a different position. Gaming revenues were down here in record fashion for the last 2 months, so a little bit concerned. There's been a lot of loyalty to the Connecticut Tribes casinos that are about an hour and 15 minutes from here. I think they underestimated that. Also, a little bit disturbing. I was very happy when they got bubble craps here last year, but it seems to have gone away. So it looks like I'm going to have to make it to the real table. One thing, they had a big Red Sox weekend thing this weekend with the players here in town, and I went down, and for the first time, it was 3-2 blackjack at all tables. There were $5 minimum table games on Saturday for the first time ever. Don't know if it's a sign of things to come or whether it was just a special thing, but it was like seeing Marty McFly and Emmett Brown running around like Back to the Future with the 3-2 blackjack and $5 minimums. Question for Mark, as we heard Dr. Mike's casino play at the craps table. Mark, I wanted to know, when you're playing craps at a $25 table or $15 table, if you're placing the 6 and the 8, what are the minimum bets? Didn't know if they have to stay on multiples of 6 and be higher than the actual table limit of 25 up to 30, or if they'll take 24. Enjoy the podcast and hope Dr. Mike is feeling better. Thank you.
Okay, so some confirmation there on the on more Springfield stuff. So
right,
and if you want more information about MGM Springfield, give a listen to Chris DeMoro's Art in the Game podcast, because he's right there. The whole podcast is devoted to the Springfield area, and get a lot of good news there.
Well, hopefully they'll do okay. That's
it seems like they're making the right move here.
Yeah,
so
because I'm sure that's a pretty big investment.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Now, as far as placing the 6 and 8, let's say you're at a $25 minimum table and you want to place the 6 and 8. They will not let you bet $24. It needs to be a multiple of 6 to get the correct payout. So they will not let you bet less. You can bet exactly $25.
Right, which a lot of people do.
We do see that. You're not going to get paid correctly.
Right, you're not going to get paid correctly, but you're better off to make a $30 bet.
Right. So again, you can bet the minimum, $25, but if you want to get paid at 7 to 6, which is what place bets on the 6 and 8 should pay, you should bet $30, right? A multiple of 6. And same at a $15 table. You can bet 15, but you really should bet 18. Yeah.
Now, for the bozo that comes in the middle of a hot roll and buys in with $100 on the $25 table and then places a 6 and 8 for a quarter, that's what we see a lot.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next call.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Corey from North Dakota calling. I'm going to be out there for the Super Bowl coming up. This is going to be the 5th time in the past 7 years a bunch of guys have traveled from North Dakota to make it out there for that. I just wanted to call about some of the subjects from your last program, especially the video poker aspect of it, and I just wanted to let you guys know. You joked about it with John when he called in, having got the royal flush. Well, I've been out there for about 40 trips now, played video poker plenty of times. One of our rituals is to get up, go right down to the Catalyst bar at the link and get a screwdriver and play for a few hours just to start the day. Anyway, in those 40 trips, I have not got a royal flush, and it was about 3 trips ago, I actually got my first 4 deuces. And I know that sounds completely improbable, but it's actually true, and almost a weird thing, the first trip I was out there with my wife in 2003, her first trip, she got 4 deuces. That made our trip. So that's one thing. The other thing you guys talked about was Paigo and how you guys say you can play for a long time. And I have had that before. I'm not sure if I'm an unlucky person or whatnot, but last time I played Paigo, I lost 6 of 7 hands, and I got up and left. And this goes to me talking about one of the other aspects, what you guys talked about, the ADT and the comps. And you guys talked about how they do the ADT and not basing on how much money you may have won or lost. I'm one of those players who would much rather they look at how much money I've lost. In general, it's only about $1,000 or $1,500 a trip 3 times a year. My problem is, and I have friends who laugh at this, but they know it, that I'm probably one of the unluckiest people they know. So before this next trip, I will be doing a karma donation for you guys. Thanks, and hope to see you guys sometime. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, Corey. Yeah, maybe they should have special ADT just for unlucky players. You know, maybe
Corey and I leading the list.
It should be like a whole special category. There should even be a separate line at the cage, right? You know, for unlucky.
Never wait. Never wait for the ADT unlucky people.
Well, why don't you get in that line, Mark? Well, I'm not unlucky.
And the unlucky people, they actually ask people in the middle of a transaction to step aside so they can take care of them.
Right. I know I've counted half of your chips, but there's an unlucky player right behind you. I'm going to have to take care of him first. They get first seating at the buffet and everything. Right. I think we've come up with a good idea. Thanks, Corey.
I got to imagine in my mind, Corey's not that unlucky.
Probably not. Probably not. Hey, we've hit 4 deuces before. Of course, we weren't playing Deuces Wild. We rarely play, but we've hit that.
We've actually get quite a few 4 of a kind.
Yeah, well, sure. We do play enough. We get enough of those. All right. Next call is from Tristan.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Tristan from Orange County. Just had a random thought pop into my head. Do you think that there's any way that you could get in contact with Derek Stevens and possibly be the people to throw out the ceremonial first roll on the craps table when Circa opened? Because that would be pretty cool. Yeah, discuss. All right, later.
I would love that.
That would be great, but I'll tell you.
I don't know if Derek Stevens is...
There is probably going to be so much going on with opening that place. It's huge, right?
Yeah, right?
The last thing I want to do is, Derek, I think you remember us. Think about that. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be great, but I think there's a lot more going on than just...
I don't know if I want to be there opening weekend. It'll be...
I wouldn't mind going. I don't know if I'd like to stay there. You know, it's always There's always problems, you know, with staying at a hotel when it first opened.
Right.
I wouldn't mind going in and playing some.
Well, remember when you went to the very first opening day of Harrah's Southern California?
I did do that.
Yep. How was that?
It was crowded.
Yeah. It was a zoo.
Yeah, we actually left and went to a different casino. I went with you weren't with me. It was with our friend Phil. But it was just, it was packed. Yeah, it was crazy.
Just everybody wants to be there.
Yeah.
It's human nature for people to want to be the first and be there. I'd like to go the second day and take them for $5,000.
There you go. I don't think Derek would mind that. You'll be back.
Yeah, no, he knows he's getting that back real quick.
All right. Well, so we're in the year 2020. This is the year where the Eldorado acquisition of Caesars actually becomes official. And listener John has already seen some changes taking place. So let's listen.
Well, gentlemen, long-time listener and first-time caller, John from Boston here. Recently back from a trip to Caesars Vegas, which I like to refer to as my home resort. Spent 4 days there. Incurred a tier score of 40,000. But some fascinating news with respect to the merger. First, as you know, Eldorado is buying, and my last day there, one of the friendly cocktail servers who I know very well had just received a memo saying effective February 1, any drinks that are up there in price, for lack of a better word, your Glenlivets, your Grey Gooses, will now have to be charged to the player, even if you're Diamond or 7 stars. I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself in the memo that was distributed to all of the cocktail servers. Call drinks are still going to be free, but select drinks will be charged to the player. Absolutely crazy, I thought, she thought, as well as the floor person who was there who saw the memo when I saw it for the first time as well. Just thought I'd share that information with you. Little trip report. Paigao and craps are my 2 games of choice. I was playing Paigao at Caesars on the holiday weekend, and my friend, to put it politely, was taking a bath. And he said, let's get the hell out of here. I need to change my luck. He had suggested going downtown. I'm not a big fan of downtown. I said, let's go to Aria, which is my other favorite casino. And he had said, no, I don't want to walk. So we walked across the street to the Cromwell, and couldn't have been the happiest walk I've ever had in Vegas. Sat down at a open-handed Paigao table. where the dealer discloses their hands. And maybe my 7th or 8th hand, I told my buddy, I'm really feeling it. I think I'm going to get a good one. Loaded up with a good amount of blacks on the hand, nickel obviously on the progressive, and I had 2 greens and a red left, which I placed on the fortune bonus. Sure enough, hit a royal flush.
Wow.
A little more than 3,000 on the progressive.
Nice time.
150 to 1 at 55 or 82.50 on the fortune, and won the hand. It was about a $12,000 walk across the street. I thought you guys would appreciate that. Last thing about the merger, a couple things. 2 a.m. at the Caesars Cage, even as a diamond player, they only had 2 cashiers for the entire property, which is shocking, and no more security at the elevators. The dealers are happy that they're in the union, but collectively they're concerned that there's going to be a lot of cutbacks at the property. Time will tell, and again, long-time listener, and look forward to listening to your next podcast when it comes out. Have a great day, guys.
Okay, so, it's impossible to say whether these changes really are a result of Eldorado taking over, although they absolutely could be, kind of preparing for it. Yeah, we'll see.
I never understand a business model that says, let's take our most valued customer and cut back on them.
Yeah.
I can understand if some guy with a gold card wants Patron or something, sure. Then, maybe you say, oh, well, that's a fee. You can have the house tequila for free. Right. But you got to give a little bit to your big players, especially at a place like Caesars, just so they're happy and they come back and they don't head over to win.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just poor business.
I wonder if that policy will be the same in the high limit rooms, because the few times...
Well, maybe not.
Yeah, the few times that we've played high limit slots at Caesars and ordered drinks, they're much better than the drinks you get on the main floor, right?
Right.
So,
but then again, there's no craps table in the high limit room.
Yeah, at
right?
least there.
And a lot of places there isn't. You're out on the floor with everyone else. And, some guy who buys in for $10,000, he may be out on the floor playing $100 blackjack.
Yeah.
Just because he wants to be with his buddies who don't want to play $100.
Well, we will see, because MGM, their business model has definitely chased some players away. Right. I mean, you look at the paid parking, right? Fewer people from California coming over. We'll see. It'll be very interesting to see what happens the next couple of years with this acquisition, with Circa opening up downtown. That could open the floodgates as far as downtown goes.
Sure.
So we'll see.
Yeah, and it's one thing too, I'm not a corporate businessman, so I'm certainly not privy to all the information that they get. However, it would seem to me, not only competing with every other casino in Vegas, you're competing with every casino around the country.
Yes, right.
Right? Because people do not have to fly to Vegas anymore. You live in Connecticut, you've got plenty of places to go. You live in New York. I mean, there are very few places in the country now where it's like, well, I got to fly to Vegas because there's nowhere drivable.
Yeah.
Most places you can drive with an hour,
an hour and a half. That's why a lot of the strip properties, at least, are reducing the importance of their casino operations.
Right.
Right? And they're emphasizing the food.
They're trying to make it a destination place, not a gambling place.
And so it hurts the gamblers, not just in terms of odds at the table, but little piddly things like this. So,
right.
All right, last call.
Hey guys, this is Joseph from Grand Prairie, Texas, right outside Dallas. Hey, just wanted to call and tell you about a little run I made up to WinStar Casino in Oklahoma. Went to my area where the craps table is, and I saw that craps table where you can sit down and you actually roll the dice, but you put your bets in on the screen, which I thought would be cool. And I'm sure it is if you can get a spot where no one gives up a seat. So it eventually became not too cool. So I just put some money in the Keno machine and had a 7 spot and actually played Cleopatra, hit a bonus. I hit all 7, $500. So I thought, well, hell, it's a good way to end the night. So I went ahead and took off, went back home. Anyway, still making my way through all the old shows. Enjoy it.
Good.
Good one, guys.
Yeah, you win, you get out of there.
Yeah, that's smart. If you can do that, boy, you've got it made.
Sounds like they've got a roll to win craps table then at WinStar, right? The electronic where you do still get to, I assume you don't have to pay an ante there. Remember, because Oklahoma, you have to pay antes.
It might be a little complicated to pay an ante, although I guess the machine can do anything they want.
That's the thing. Does it qualify as a machine? And we've talked about it before. It's the casino's discretion, too. If they don't want to charge an ante, they really don't have to. So,
right.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, recurring donations from Brian and Sarah, from Josh, and from our buddy Robin from Anytime Gambling. Thanks very much. Also, a donation from Bill. Happy 200, Mark and Dr. Mike. Thanks for the countless hours of entertainment. Here's to the next 200 shows. Oh my gosh, 200 shows.
Yeah, no way.
About that.
No way.
And then also from Michael James that we heard from earlier. He says, thanks again for all the great content over the past 6 or so years that I have been a regular listener. Also a donation from Corey. Thank you very much. And a donation from Shay. He sent us a nice email. He mainly bets on the horses, and he and his wife own horses. He said anytime we have questions about horse racing, just give him a call.
That'd be nice.
Also, we want to talk about a donation we got from listener Jeff. Dr. Mike, you played with Jeff at Horseshoe Southern Indiana.
Yes, I remember.
He was the one who pressed his 10, his hard 10, right?
His hard 10.
Interesting way to do it. He made a bet for us for Bubba Watson to win the Masters.
Yeah, Bubba did pretty good out here this last weekend.
Oh, at Farmers?
At Farmers, yeah. I mean, he finished 6th.
Oh, okay. So very
tied
good.
for 6th.
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, and there was a moment there where he was making his charge for the lead.
Oh, very good.
So.
Good. All right. Well, this bet is plus 5,000, which is 50 to 1.
Yeah.
So it'd be a nice hit if it comes up.
Very nice.
Thanks for that, Jeff. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Got something for us here at the end, Dr. Mike?
Well, Mark, it's 200 episodes.
Yeah, amazing. Oh,
Isn't
my gosh.
Enough? Isn't that enough?
Should we
really?
stop?
I mean, don't you think?
Maybe we should stop.
That's
Should I just not even post this one? Because this
no,
is 201?
put this one out. I mean,
okay.
What can you do? We already did it.
All right. That sounds good.
We'll probably be here in 2 weeks.
I think so.
What did I tell you the other night? Until I'm dead.
Yeah.
Just count on me. I'll be here.
Until you're dead.
Until I'm dead.
That's a given. You don't need to tell me that.
I just want to make it clear that after I'm dead, I do not want you just doing it and dubbing my voice in, putting images of me. I don't want to be Princess Leia.
It'll be so far in the future that I'll be able to take all the words that you've spoken in previous episodes,
and just
have you say whatever it was, right? Whatever it is. Mark, you're a great guy.
Yeah, but you wouldn't make it sound stupid enough. That's true. Thing. That's the thing. You can't just do that. And another thing I want to mention, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. There's a certain basketball team that's doing really well. I can't say their name because I don't want to jinx them. I don't want to be the person responsible for them, but boy, we are happy.
It's very exciting here in San Diego.
In San Diego.
Right.
I was looking at a projection where these people project the seeding for the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do it all year long based on who's winning and whatnot. And this guy had this team in San Diego as a number 1 seed and number 2 in the whole tournament.
Oh, wow. Do we want that?
No, we don't.
That's the jinx.
That's the jinx. I'd like to go in like as a 3.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Oh, sweet mother, I love you, Dr. Mike.